Okay, let's talk about a feeling I think a lot of us know. That incredibly intense, all consuming crush that feels like, this is it. This is the real thing. But what if it's not actually love? Today, we are going to decode that powerful, overwhelming experience and figure out what might really be going on under the surface.
So, does this sound familiar? You find yourself thinking about them, like constantly. A single text message from them can make your entire day, right? But then, getting left on red feels absolutely gut wrenching. It's this powerful, intoxicating feeling. But the big question is it really love?
All right, here's our roadmap for today. First, we're going to define a word that might just change how you see these things. Then, we'll get into the chase, that need for attention and the fantasy we build up. We'll talk about why one feels like a roller coaster and the other feels safe. Then, we'll look at the goal of it all. And finally, wrap up with why figuring this out is so important. Okay, first things first, let's actually put a name to this experience. There's a specific word that just perfectly captures these super intense feelings, and honestly, just understanding it is a huge first step. And that word is limerence. It can feel absolutely magical, right? So passionate, but deep down, it's really different from healthy love. It's this intense state that's fueled by uncertainty, a deep craving for someone else's approval, and yeah, a pretty powerful emotional dependency on them. So, how do you know if you're in it? Let's break down the first two big signs, that constant, nonstop chase for their attention and the perfect, idealized fantasy world we create around them in our own minds. This really gets to the core of it. When it's limerence, it's like you're on an emotional roller coaster, and they have the controls. Their attention is this huge reward that sends you flying, but their silence, it feels like a punishment that just makes you crash. In a healthy love, though, you have your own stable sense of self. Your peace, your happiness, it doesn't completely depend on their every text or mood. And this leads right into the second major sign. A lot of the time, you're not actually in love with the person. You're in love with the idea of them. With limerence, we build this perfect, idealized version of them in our heads. We just kind of fill in the blanks with what we want to see and conveniently ignore any red flags that don't fit the narrative. But real love, it doesn't grow in our imagination. It grows from seeing and accepting someone for who they actually are. The good, the bad, all of it. Okay, so we've covered the external stuff. Now let's turn inward. How does this all actually feel day to day? This part is all about the chaos of limerence versus the genuine security you feel in real love. Does this feel a little too real? You have these amazing, incredible highs, and they're followed by these absolutely crushing lows. It can be thrilling, I'm not gonna lie, but it is also so exhausting and just deeply unstable. That up and down roller coaster is a classic sign of limerence. So you might be wondering, why is that roller coaster so addictive? Well, it actually boils down to some pretty powerful psychology. Think about it like a slot machine in a casino. When a reward, in this case affection or attention, is unpredictable, it literally makes us crave it more. That hot and cold behavior just strengthens that obsessive attachment because we're always chasing that next little hit of validation. And that right there is the fundamental difference. Limerence thrives on the very things that would totally poison a healthy relationship. Uncertainty, inconsistency, it's designed to keep you on edge and anxious. Healthy love is the exact opposite. It's built on a foundation of emotional safety and that feeling of security that comes from knowing you can both count on each other. All right, let's talk about our final and maybe most revealing sign. It all comes down to your motivation. What is the actual goal here? Where's all of this emotional energy going? This, right here, gets to the absolute heart of it. In a state of limerence, the focus is way less on, hey, are we actually a good match? And much more on, please like me back. It becomes this whole quest to win their approval, to prove you're worthy of them. But in love, the energy is mutual. It's a two-way street where both of you are exploring if you're compatible and deciding together if the connection really works. So, we've broken down all the signs. We've compared the two, but why does any of this really matter? Well, because being able to tell the difference is absolutely key to building relationships that genuinely make you happy and don't just become another source of anxiety. And before we wrap up, I want to be super clear about something. If any of this is hitting home for you, it does not mean your feelings were fake or that you were silly. The emotions that come with limerence are incredibly real. They're unbelievably powerful. This is a very human experience. So the goal then is to hopefully move away from that state of craving and constant uncertainty and move towards this real, healthy love. It's built on genuine connection, on mutual care, and on a feeling of emotional safety that lets you be your complete, authentic self without that constant fear of rejection. So if there's just one thing you take away from all this, let it be this. The most fulfilling, beautiful relationships, they aren't built on obsession, anxiety, or that exhausting chase for someone's approval. They're built on a sense of peace, mutual respect, and emotional security.
So, I'll leave you with a question to think about. As you reflect on your own relationships, past or present, what does a truly safe and secure connection actually look and feel like to you? Because figuring out the answer